Alright guys, I'm at the top of the wall here. I just want to show you how I take care of doing the last piece, the F channel, and then the soffit, and maybe I'll do the metal too. But I'm going to break them up into separate videos to try to keep them short. So what I'm going to do is measure right up there. I got 6 3/4. 6 3/4 to that clip. And down at the other end I had 6 5/8. So what I did is I made a mark on my piece. I scribed it all the way down from 6 3/4 to 6 5/8. And now what I'm doing is I'm just going to snip this about 1 inch above that line. It's cutting nice today. Usually cracks go to the left for me, but sometimes they'll go to the right. So I generally try to have my scrap piece on the left. That way I don't break the good side of the piece. Okay. Hey, you can hear that snap too. Hopefully the sun's not bothering you guys too much. Alright, there's that. And I have my hole punchers. I'll put it just high enough so that I can get a staple on there. You don't have to staple this stuff, you can nail it. I go about every 12 inches or so. That's plenty sufficient to hold it. And the wind's taking it on me. I'm just gonna let it do its thing as much as I can. There we go. Helps if you try to line the piece up with the wind, whatever direction the wind's coming from. That way you can just wiggle the end and you're not gonna have it crease on you. There we go, got that. And I'll have to make a little hole for that wire there. I'll just hold it up there, and I know the piece wants to go this way a little bit, so I'll move the hole that direction, which will bring it that way, the piece that way. Okay, so right there. And I'll measure up from this clip. We got 6 inches to the center. Off of this edge right here will be 2 inches, because 2 plus 4 equals 6. Believe it or not. All right. And I guess you're getting a 2-fer or 3-fer here, because I'll show you how I take care of wire too. I'm just gonna spin that. And I'm basically drilling a hole. That's just about the right size for that wire. I'll go from the back side there. Just take away that sharp edge there. So there you have it. You got a hole for the wire. And we're good to go. Got that guy. And there we go. We got a little room to wiggle. Since that hole's over there and whatever they're gonna mount is gonna kind of fix that siding in place, I'm gonna allow it to grow this way. That way, when they fix their camera over here, it's not gonna, if I put it over there, it'll be fixed in between those 2 points. It'll have nowhere to go, and it will bubble. Guaranteed it will bubble. So there we go. Got a leaky hose. And again, I'm putting my staples right in the center of the slot. That way it can grow this way. If I put it on that side, this side, now I'm fixing it in place again. So yeah, there's lots of ways to mess up vinyl. And for as long as me, yeah, I've been doing vinyl for probably 12 years or 15 years. I don't even know at this point. You pretty much figure out every way to screw it up. So hopefully I can save you guys from a few of those mistakes that I've made. And even just, you know, looking out for things like this, where it's not even really your fault. If you install it properly, the other people are gonna mess it up on you. So now this F channel is gonna go right up in here. And I'm gonna go with this outer edge there. You know what? I actually kind of like it if I go there. I'm gonna trim it inside of the corner. That way the soffit can run right on top of that corner and be nice and tight, and it'll look nice. So I'm gonna trim that little bit off there. And that should now slide inside that. Yeah. Now I can align this top edge of the bottom edge of the F channel with this top edge of the corner. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. We'll make a mark where that's got to be and cut a little bit longer and notch it out again. Same deal. And just trimming a little bit of that front edge off. There we go. And what I'll have to do is I'm going to have to take out this top edge probably of the F channel. It's getting bowed down by this 2x8 right there. I'm going to mark that out. And snip there, there, and I'm just rolling this thing right over, kind of forcing its way in there. See, I got right past that edge. Now I can snip this off too. Or I could knife that. It was a little bit big, so I'm going to take a little bit more off of this. There we go. It's too tight inside that J pocket there, so I just need to trim some off the length here. And it's a little bit long there still. Sorry guys, it's taking me a minute. Come on, get it. There we go. And this was actually pushing that inside corner out a little bit, so I took a little bit off of there. And that's so you just don't, now you're not going to look up from underneath and see a hole up in there. That's why I leave that bit on underneath there. So we're going right up tight with that bottom of the F channel. Top of the bottom leg of the F channel is even with the top of that corner there. I'm bumping you guys on the fascia board there. Alright. Yeah, that one right through the nail fin. That's alright. It's a small piece. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. There we go. Soffit will slip right in there. I'm gonna put a double J going back in. That way I can put the soffit that way, going this way, and then I can go this way over here. Ooh. Okay. And I'll do the same thing to this one. And it doesn't have to go all the way back in that J pocket. You know, as long as you get a little bit in there, it's gonna look just fine. That way we're not leaving holes everywhere. Right there. And now you see the top flange of the F channel is missing the top of the siding. That's why I went about 1 inch with that cut on the siding. Because if that cut was too high, I'd staple this F channel without fixing this piece tight. Go. It's a beauty. And go right inside there and make a mark there. And I'm snipping this square, and I'm going to go a little bit to the right of that snip there. That way I know the top leg isn't going to hold the bottom leg away. I can get a nice tight corner right there. Nice tight edge. Alright, it's a little bit too tight. And the other cut is a little bit out of angle, so change that up. There we go. Right inside there. And we're matching up well there. And you want to staple this or nail it every 16 inches. These trusses are 2 feet apart, so I know I gotta go closer than the trusses are. All right. There we go, all the F channels on. And take a measure on this. We got 12 3/8, 12 and a half. 12 and a half is a little bit short. Or about a 1/4 inch short with 12 and a half. I want to make sure I'm pushing this F channel in pretty tight against there, so you're not gonna look up and see a hole underneath. So we got 12 and a half. For all these ones, and these run a foot a piece, so we got 12 feet. I'll make 13 of them. Actually no, I'll make 12 of them, because we're gonna start with a bigger one. Actually we're gonna end with a bigger one here. We got 17 and a half, will be a 1/4 inch short on each side, so that'll be good too. 17 and a half. We're gonna need 2 of those. We're gonna start on this inside edge here. Okay guys, I'm back. I think I might have just messed up a bunch of that footage. Had it on time warp maybe. We will see. Alright, so what we're doing here is soffit. We're gonna put in the vented soffit all along here. And I'll show you how I tackle this 45 inside here, because I don't want to run this off at only one direction. I want to run this off it this way here and this way here. So I'm going to measure all the way back in there, and I'll go a little short. Go 17 and 5/8. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 inch to that. Go 18 and 5/8, and then another 18 and 5/8 right there. And I have myself a piece of metal J-channel that I bent. Some people use, they'll make an H channel. Those are nice. I certainly know how to bend them, but what ends up happening is you end up using a lot of extra metal. So I just bend these J channels out of scraps that I have. That way I save the customer a little bit of money. I'm cutting this in out of 45, in out of 45, bend this thing around, and what happens is this ends up being a little bit out just because of the way you snip it. So you just give a little bump, tap it back in. And we're doing a 45 here as well. And we'll just bend that in as well, just so it's not going to hold it apart. Bend it around. There's a little tiny gap right there. I just like to squeeze it together with my snips. I'm not snipping, I'm just crimping it together a little bit tighter. You can see how before those little knobs would have held these apart, but it's looking good now. I'm lining this right up with this. I want to line that center point up with the center of this corner, and I'm lining up this with where these intersect as well. And staple there, make sure I'm still good over there. Yep, looking good. And there we go. A few staples to stop it from twisting around, and the soffit's actually going to push that down a little bit tighter. And what I want to do is I want to start the soffit from inside this corner, that way I have somewhere to nail it. So you start it from here, going that way, and there going that way. Got my soffit already cut. And this is going up like that, so I got to cut it at an angle this way. I'm just going to eyeball this. About a 45-degree angle. It's pretty close. Might have to trim a little more off of there. Trying to leave a little bit on the bottom there. That way I keep that nailing fin. You can see the angle. The angle's a little bit off, but it'll probably be okay. Well, looks like I might want to cut a little bit more off right there. Ain't no big deal. A little snipperoni. There we go. I've seen people start from the other side and then come to this edge, and then there's nothing to nail the soffit to, and after a while it becomes unclipped and you see the soffit sliding around in there, and you'll see a big old hole. Now what I'm doing is I'm holding this fairly tight against there to pinch that F channel tight against the siding, and I'm putting my staple close to that side of the slot so that it's not going to back up and allow this to rotate out. That way it'll look nice for years to come. I'll have to figure out something to hold that. hold that metal J down. It wants to sneak up. I think it looks pretty good already, but I might sneak a nail behind it or bend it down somehow. Right there, I just made sure the staple's tight, so that's not going to back off. Where I can, I'll use that edge of the hole. That's pretty precise placement of the staple, because if you end up catching this, a lot of times you'll crack it. You might have noticed me that I did that on the first piece. Okay, well, I think you guys got the idea. I just gotta cut around this. Around this edge. Actually, just so happens that this piece is gonna slide past there. Worked out pretty well. I don't even have to notch it around. Measure this. 12.5 will be a little shy. Looks like I just made the knife off this nailing fin. That'll fit right in there. Just be careful when I do this. Keep my hand out of the way. And I'm angling my knife a little bit. Come on. Trying to angle my knife to hold this thing tight. There we go. This might be a little bit of a bear. There we go. Get it inside that metal there, in the clip here, and work it into the metal back there. There we go. And put some nails there and there. That'll hold that piece from twisting out. I got a battery in my nail bags. I don't want to nail it up too much, so I'll suck that thing right in. That ain't gonna look good. Just so it grabs it a little bit. That's good. There we go. I'm gonna take care of that other side over there, and I'll be back to show you how I do the metal. Alright guys, I'm back. Show you how I take care of metal on a flat with the strapping bend. Just take this measurement. It's 2 foot and 3/16. Yep, top and bottom. 24 and 3/16. Alright, so I know that measurement. This is longer than 10 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and make the tabs on this edge here and this edge here. And I'll be back in a second. I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to knock that little corner off there. That's going to get in the way. Alright, that's good. So we had our measurement, the 24 and 3/16. This is going to be the outer edge. This will be the inner edge. I'm going to go 26 and 3/16 because I'm adding 2 inches. And then on the top we need to minus 3/4. So we're going to come back 3/4. And we're going to leave a little tab on the bottom. And I'm going to leave 1.5 inches because that'll be the same as this. This is dented, but we're going to cut that off. So you got 26 and 3/4, 27 and 3/4. And down on this end, 2 inches. That's at 2 inches. Then we need to go out 3/4. So the strapping shifts this top edge over. All right, we're gonna square that down. Square this guy down, and we're gonna leave a tab on this side. And the other side, we're not gonna leave a tab. The other side that goes that way. Okay. And this outer edge will also leave a tab. That's going up the gable on the other side. So I'm cut it a little bit up at an angle. And this gets snipped down straight. Then this can get cut at an angle also, because that's going up the gable. Very carefully on this edge here. I'm holding exactly on that point. And I'm bending this around. My magical hand seamers. They do sell actual hand seamers, but once again, I don't use those. I find that my fingers work just fine. Straighten that out. You can see now the gable is going to come down that way. And this just gets snipped with this line that we marked. Snip it there. I can bend that up now. Snip up there. Spin my snips around. Down. And there we go. I can go a little shorter with this. I could have left it as long as I wanted. I'm snipping it to that inside line there. And this gets snipped with this outside line there. I'll cut that little bit off. This goes with that line. Now I need to bend this out of the way. Okay, folded it right around. Now I can snip this excess off on the strapping, underside of the strapping. There we go. Now I can bend this around. Now when the next piece of metal goes on, you'll see white behind it in all the areas, even on the bottom. I'll bend the same tab on the bottom. It's a little bit dirty, but I'll clean it off later. Alright, so we got the little one bent, the little one cut and bent. Now I'll do the other side before I go up there. This is, yeah, okay. So I'll just go 1.5 inches with this, because that's the same as that little tab over there. 1.5 inches, 2 1/4, so that's 3/4 smaller again. And now just square those down. And this one, like I said, I don't bend tabs on, I just cut it off straight. I'll snip this into that line there, and this goes down, bend it up, snip it off there, and there, Hey, you get out of there. And there we go. Now you'll see how these can come together. Just like that. Come back in when I'm up there and I'm putting it on. Okay guys, I'm back. And now I'm putting this metal in. It can be a little tricky sometimes to get it to go in, especially when you have a ladder leaning against your roof edge here. That squeezes it tight. But I'll show you how I go about it. There you go, put that side in. And I move that guy over and get my chisel right in there. Bend it out just a little bit. And there we go. It's in. Okay. 2 white nails in the bottom will be sufficient to hold this. I don't like that one. Making sure it's tight there. And put the nail about here. Make sure it's kind of tight there, not too much. Okay, there we go. And the piece that we cut here this piece we cut to fit in there, and we'll start over there, move it into place, and just gently working it in all the way down. Hung up on something there, but I got past whatever it was, and we're sort of kind of hung up on something again here. We actually need to come this way a bit. There we go. All right, there we go. Now it's time to nail it home. You can see how those tabs cover up there. I do have a little hole there. Maybe I'll put a dab of caulking on that. But it's good. Looks nice. Again, I usually just put 5 nails in metal. You can put more. Haven't had any metal blow off in a long time. And the main reason why is you have to nail the seams. So where there's 2 pieces of metal meet, you gotta put a face nail, and that'll prevent the wind from getting behind it and working that piece loose over time. If you only nail the bottoms, then it's gonna get inside there and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. It'll pop right off. I would have got 24 inches. I'll do the same thing to finish up the end, but I won't show that. I'm going to just nail this end here. If I can get my hammer in there. There we go. A little bit awkward. There we go. She's looking nice. Alright guys, I did the same thing that I did over on that other end. Oh, the other end. I'm not going to look over there because the guy on a skid steer. Anyways, so Right here I already have my gable metal cut to that profile, and I'm just gonna rotate it out and tuck it in there, being pretty careful. Give this thing a little bounce and just gently working that in. You can see how this is all matching up really well. This thing gets bent back up. Looks like I'll have to snip a little bit out there. Actually, I can work this down a little bit because right now it's angled upwards. So I'm going to sneak it down a little bit. And I just give it a little bump just to make sure that I'm on with that edge there. And we're looking good. There we go. And now I'm gonna gently coax this back down. There we go. That's where I want it. I'm nailing in those grooves there. I don't know if you can see that or if the rung of the ladder is in the way. There's probably a better view. And there we go. I'm getting the nail in pretty close to that strapping bend there. That way the shadow will hide it pretty well. And now I gotta nail the end of this gable metal. Same thing there, I'll just put it up close to that strapping bend. And a lot of times there'll be a shadow there that'll hide that. And then one down here. And I'll kind of flatten that out a little bit. There we go. She's a beauty. Look at that from the ground. See how that looks nice. There we go. All done.